Good morning, everyone. We have Coach Payton for the conference call. Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Patrick, and good morning, Coach. We'll begin with Parker Gabriel of the Denver Post. Go ahead, Parker.
Hey, Sean, I know obviously you're focused on the plan and all that, but what do you think the emotions will be like for you and for the other folks who spent so much time in New Orleans going back there this week and with Drew in the Hall of Fame and all that? Like, it's going to be sort of a unique one, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it will be unique. I think this, one of the things we talk about with our players is, man, trying to handle all the stuff ahead of time. And, I've got a great wife whose tickets are done with, family, my children. I think those around us know, like, how challenging the short week is as compared to if it was a full week. And, yeah, certainly there'll be emotions going back there with players but I do think that comes up quite a bit, in our league, with players. And in this case, certainly the amount of time that I was there, I understand it. And look, we have to deal with the crowd noise. That place is loud, and you guys know that. And so, I guess I would say, fortunately, it's a short week because I haven't had, a lot of chance to dive into all the other stuff. I mean, Drew's going into their Hall of Fame. Now, they also have a Ring of Honor, so that's a separate event. And, and soon the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And so, I've already reached out to him and congratulated him and said, hey, look, this is the first of, many. But I think still it's about, and I say this, man, it's about the game. It's about the win, the significance of us playing our best football on a short week. And it's about our team. And I'll address that with them tomorrow morning. Hey, let's understand, the significance of getting our fourth win. I think that's the number one thing. And then go from there.
Eric Dalala, DenverBroncos.com.
Coach, you mentioned on Friday limiting new thoughts on a short week and kind of doing the stuff that guys know by heart. How can that be helpful for a team as you guys get ready to play Thursday?
Well, I think, look, there's a couple things that I think are important. In order to play fast, you have to know what to do. And that doesn't mean there's not a wrinkle. That doesn't mean there's not a couple ideas that we want to walk through and put in. But overall, I think one of the most important things in preparing for a Thursday night game is the recovery process. We had recovery stations even after the game yesterday, all day today, IV recovery, guys coming in to get a lift, get some film work done. Obviously, the practices get altered greatly. And so trying to be as physically and mentally fresh for the game. And then, the other thing that stands out when you do some studies, halftime leads on Thursday generally have a higher percentage of wins than on a normal Sunday. And so fatigue can obviously take place. And so I think, playing well early is important. But to your original question, I just think in order to play fast, it's important to play with the defense, special teams, and offensive stuff scheme-wise that real well that you've done in training camp.
Troy Rank, the Denver Post.
Coach, in that regard, starting fast has been an issue offensively for you guys. I know you don't see backyard football as sustainable. Are there ways to maybe mix in some stuff like you talked about yesterday, maybe a little more up-tempo to create a sense of urgency for the offense in the first quarter, if not the first half?
Yeah, look, I think I think that's important. And we had a good start at Tampa Bay. And I think with each team you play, you meet as a staff and you talk about how you think we want the game to unfold, and then you plan accordingly. But certainly that's not out of the question, and a lot of it is, all right, what are you trying to accomplish when you do that? And so sometimes that's done because it can reduce the crowd noise issue. Sometimes that's done because you can slow down the pass rush. So I think it would be something that would be game plan driven.
Jeff Legwold, ESPN.
Sean, I asked this just on a sort of a, your game day mode level, but when Manning went back to Indy for the first time, they waited until the teams were back out on the field and then played a tribute video to him right before kickoff. And he said later it was kind of an emotional, odd feeling for him. And I guess I'm just curious, have you thought about how you would handle any of those things pregame or halftime or whatever?
I think that's pretty clever by Indy. I mean, in other words, I'm usually, I don't know, I'd say kind of wound up pregame and ready to go. And so, look, I think obviously for a player it's different, but for me, I think this, first off, the evening's about the game. And then secondly, Breeze is getting honored at halftime. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of flowers and warm fuzzies for yours truly. And I get it. So, but it's a good question. And that's, I think that, listen, I can't stand losing. And so it's about our team and me as the head coach of the Broncos getting ready to play on an early week and try to play one of our better games.
Mike Kliss, 9 News.
Yeah, Sean, yesterday it seemed like you made a concerted effort to advance your two young receivers, Franklin and Bailey, with playing time, and you talked after the game. You want to see more of Estime. Is this about the time of season when you typically, move younger players in? I know every team is different, or is this, in this case, you think you just need a little more pop and energy on offense, and these guys can help with that?
Well, I think the receiver change a little bit is a byproduct, obviously, of Josh, with the fractured finger and what had happened to him. And so, that plan kind of came into place right away relative to how we were going to utilize Bailey and how we were going to utilize Troy and still, the other receivers that have been up, LJ and Cortland. Estime, that's his first week back off of the short-term IR. Look, one of the challenges and working with two backs and feeding two backs is easy and kind of what I'm used to and what a lot of teams do. I think it's hard with three, but we did want to get him some work and get him some reps. Obviously, we would have liked more had we had more snaps. But I think that's a little bit bigger challenge maybe than the receiver position based on Josh's injury.
Coach, that appears to be all the questions that we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you.